Did you know that nearly every apple tree you've ever seen is actually two different apple varieties grafted together? Let's talk about why and how you would do that. Now, this is true for most modern fruits, but apple varieties are various and diverse, and there's so many of them. Like, for example, this Pink Lady apple tree here. Pink Lady apples are bred to be large and tasty and a little bit tart, and it's really a great variety. The problem is that in the process of breeding for fruit traits, a lot of times the root systems get neglected. So maybe they become weak against drought or not very water efficient, or you get a tree that's bigger than you want. So what we can do is take the roots off of another kind of apple tree, graft them together, and then you get the positive root characteristics from some and the positive fruit characteristics from another. So generally when you buy an apple, you're going to see on that young tree a graft union, maybe 4 to 6 inches, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, from the top of that root ball. That's where those two parts, the root stock or the roots, and the scion or the fruiting wood from the apples that we want, are stuck together. Now, there are a lot of ways to accomplish this and a lot of different styles of graft, but a common way in the nursery industry, at least where you're going to go and buy a young fruit tree, is to take a rootstock and budwood or a scion or the fruiting wood from a mature tree that's about the same diameter and stick them together. So we did a little experiment with some students last year where we grafted all of these apples. We used a M111 rootstock. Now, this is a very common apple rootstock. This is defined as a semi-dwarf apple rootstock, which means that at maturity, instead of a 30 to 40 foot tall tree, you're going to get a tree that's somewhere between 10 and 15 feet tall. It makes it better for a backyard tree. It's easier to harvest, easier to maintain, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, this particular tree was a graft that didn't take. See, here's the scion wood that we stuck on there, and it just never established. So what you're seeing here, all of this wood is actually the rootstock that's growing out. So we'll use this coming year to graft new scion wood onto. But here are a few that did work. So for example, this one's called Liberty. So the fruit wood or the apple variety that we wanted was Liberty. We used that same M111 rootstock. And here is our graft union. So you can see that it was all wrapped up. I'll do a future video here in a couple of days about how to actually go through that process. But essentially, we took our M111 and our Liberty, and we stuck them together, and now they are one plant. We get the best qualities from the rootstock and the best qualities from the scion wood, and we have a desirable apple tree that's great for the landscape or for production. This grafting work here that we did is part of a larger project that we're calling the Lost Apples Project, where we're taking old, former, very common varieties of apples that you don't find in the industry, or at least not in Texas anymore, and we're trying to get them restarted. So we're doing some grafting work to try to increase the amount of budwood that we have so that we can maybe restart some of these varieties and some trial orchards and across the state. More about that soon, but apple grafting and fruit tree grafting is a standard common practice that can really get you what you want out of your fruit trees. So if you want more of this kind of content, or if you'd like to learn more about grafting, let me know and I'll make some follow-ups.